I'm Yann Bauduin. I'm the Chief Sales Officer of Kerlink. Kerlink is a French company which is a leading provider, manufacturer of LoRaWAN gateways. I would like to take the opportunity of this speech to thank very much Packetworks for organizing this session. It's really amazing and very wonderful organization. Perfect. One more thing, today I see very young people, some students, and I would like them to speak about the technology, but not only the technology. In your IoT life, you will see that there are many people debating about the power of NB-IoT. Oh, no, maybe Sigfox is much better. Oh, no, maybe LoRaWAN is the best technology. Okay. So I think this is a waste of time because the aim of this presentation is to demonstrate and to show you that it's much better to combine than competing with the technologies. So this is the idea of this extension of network to LP1 technology, LP1 networks. Just in one word, not to lose everyone, low power one, it's, well, LP1, it's low power wide area network, and it includes all this technology as previously mentioned. So next slide, please. Today, we are in the time of massive IoT. Massive IoT because today you already had many speeches, many speakers explaining you their business in the domain of IoT. Even the brochure of this event is Internet of everything. I could add Internet of everywhere, or is everywhere. And actually this is true. We can see, well, in Europe, in US, in Asia, and even now in Philippines, many use cases, applications in a lot of different domains. Sorry, I don't have the screen, so I have to check that. No, not too fast. Go back. Yeah, so there are some drawings here, some pictures. One is for planes, so this stands for smart airports. We have smart retail. We have smart, well, lighting, smart water, smart agriculture. We just have a wonderful panel discussion about smart agriculture just previously, and smart building. And so there are so many use cases and many applications in those domains. And today, it's not the time of POC from pilots anymore. This is time of extension, because you have seen today that there are many needs already. The need of IoT is already there. We just need now to deploy. It's not necessary to demonstrate the technology anymore. It was done in the past years. Now we just have to choose the right way to connect the devices according to the use case you want to address. So for an operator who needs to address this need, he needs to deploy an infrastructure to connect these devices. And so this is a need of, well, initiate the coverage, but also densification of the coverage. So this is time of massive IoT, and so this is time to provide an infrastructure to connect all the devices. And this time, you can switch, please. So this slide is quite key to understand the following. If you are an operator providing cellular technology, and especially, let's imagine you're an operator who provides NB-IoT in the Philippines. If you want to connect, densify your network, you have to face some challenges. First one is that if you want to densify, you need to add NB-IoT cells from place to connect the devices. And that's an issue in terms of budget. On the left picture here, on the graph, you can see the investment needed to connect, to densify a LP1 network. and the expected revenues on the horizontal way. And so you can see that if you want to address all the devices everywhere in the country, for example, you need to invest a lot as an operator. You know that just activating, enabling NB-IoT cells on the base stations, it costs dozens and dozens of thousands of dollars just for one cell. So one cell starting with 20 devices, 40 devices, 100, and maybe later on thousands of devices. It's a huge risk for an operator to invest in cellular connectivity on an area. If you go on the customer side, paying a cost per month or price per month for your device, it's acceptable to have a kind of proportion between the number of devices and the budget you have. It's acceptable if you have 10, 20, 100, maybe 1,000 devices. But if you come to a massive densification, and if we speak here about, for example, in Europe, we have water meters. There are millions of water meters. It's not acceptable anymore for any utilities to pay proportionally to the number of devices. At one moment, a cap is expected from the operator who provides the connectivity. So these green arrows you can see behind me show a way to avoid this zone of risk, for the two cases, for the operator himself and for the customer. So this is what we call the edge networking solution. That is to find inside the network, inside the infrastructure, a solution to avoid these two challenges. Next, please. So if you look at the massive IoT and all the use cases that exist in that domain, a small proportion of them can be addressed with cellular LP1. So this portion is a portion in blue here. Okay, it can be addressed by the cellular, and it's progressing. There are more and more NB-IoT, or by the way, LTE-M as well, solution existing, and slowly, more and more use cases are addressed by these technologies by cellular operators. But it's quite slow. I think that in Philippines, it just starts for NB-IoT. And there are some barriers to this growth, especially financial barriers and also technical barriers. Typically, once again, if we go to water metering, for example, the data of a meter, it's just nothing, okay? So it's not acceptable to pay a fee per month quite high for NB-IoT just to send a metadata. As well, technically, there are some challenges as well. If you, in NB-IoT, if you want, once again, to connect a device that lifetime is expected to be, let's say, 10 years, and usually it exists, we find it on the market, with NB-IoT, it will be difficult because of the power consumption performance of the devices. So this is some examples that slow down the progress of NB-IoT. But there are some good news, because all these use cases I was mentioning can be addressed with LoRaWAN. So I start by the end. All these use cases, LoRaWAN can address them. Financially, you know, this is low cost, and in terms of power consumption, well, LoRaWAN is the king, definitively. So another good news is that almost everywhere you have internet. You can always find a backhauling system using internet to position some LoRaWAN gateways to cover an area. And also, well, packet-oriented, this is internet, and this is almost covered everywhere with cellular technologies. So the edge networking solution that is proposed is to consider that you have your cellular coverage already existing that makes the job for a certain amount of use cases. But thanks to LoRaWAN, so-called microcell, you can extend your network, not only geographically. This picture you should not see only as an extension in a geographical area. You can also consider that these microcells are there to extend the network to reach a new use case, for example, or to reach a new, or to solution a new another technical challenges. So that's the idea of this extension of network, thanks to LoRaWAN, that allow to address many use cases and also allows to access an ecosystem. Because one of the challenges, because of the technical things I was mentioning, one of the challenges is that in NB-IoT or LTE-M, for example, there are not so many devices, sensors existing, as in LoRaWAN, there are plenty of them already everywhere, and even it's easy to make the devices. We spoke about it earlier today. Many of you are doing some sensors, and this is quite easy to do that with LoRaWAN. This is very accessible. So this extension allows you to cover more use cases, more devices, and solution some technical things. The beauty of this is that you can see now that I'm not competing NB-IoT and LoRaWAN. I just say that LoRaWAN can help NB-IoT to reach, for example, a faster ROI. I mean, you are operator, you pay, once again, dozens of thousands of USD to deploy. Thanks to a LoRaWAN microcell, you bring some traffic on your network, so you help him to obtain a ROI. You transport data on this network, and so it helps this deployment. So you just feed your NB-IoT network. And so if you are interested in LoRaWAN, for example, you can bring this technology, bring these microcells to an operator and help him, instead of considering yourself as a competitor of a public and cellular operator. By extension, you can see the blue part. I was speaking about LP1, but we can also consider Wi-Fi. Packetworks is in a program of proposing Wi-Fi for everyone for non-commercial use. This is a so-called free Wi-Fi for all, for municipalities, for example. On Wi-Fi, thanks to a microcell like the one I was describing you, a microcell in LoRaWAN, you can, on top of Wi-Fi, provide extra services. Wi-Fi faces the same technical challenges than NB-IoT. You know that you cannot connect a sensor for 10 years with Wi-Fi because you know, you all have mobile phones. You all know that when you connect to Wi-Fi, 2 days later maximum, you have to power the battery again. So this is the same for sensors, of course. So Wi-Fi is difficult to use for sensors, but using the existing Wi-Fi infrastructure and on top of that, adding LoRaWAN, you can cover plenty of different usage in IoT. So the idea is quite simple. The idea is to add, let's say, a dongle like this one. So this is Kerlink's ones. You can maybe find some others. This is the microcell. It's quite easy. You just plug it on a wall, and that's it. You have your LoRaWAN microcell established, and it connects to NB-IoT or LTE-M. The backhaul of this, it's NB-IoT. So you have the LoRaWAN connection for devices, and backhaul is NB-IoT. So you have the combination of the best of the technologies, LoRaWAN and NB-IoT in the same device. For Wi-Fi, it's even more easy. I don't have the plug anymore. You have the USB, you just connect it to the router, to the Wi-Fi router, and hop, it just created the microcell on top of your Wi-Fi cell that already exists. So once again, with these two dongles, you can create extension of LP1 cells or Wi-Fi areas that you have already covered. So maybe last slide. Well, it's not the exact, well, all the technicians here will cry seeing this slide. Just the message I want to share is that this dongle with the internal NB-IoT cell backhaul is incorporated an eSIM inside. An eSIM means that you can configure any network on this one. You have no risk that the SIM card itself is stolen because this is inside. And so for any MVNO, virtual operator, proposing this allows to extend their IoT network, their existing NB-IoT network, just like providing SIM cards around them. So we could consider that this gateway is a kind of eSIM to access to LoRaWAN. Hope I was clear. So thank you for your attention. We have a booth in Kerlink on the event, so if any question, please come, and I will be very happy to continue the discussion. So good luck for the students for their future IoT.